Hey everybody, it's Michael Fair. It's Michael Fair from FilmFestivalCircuit.com, and here I am after the Portland Comedy Film Festival we just had at the Clinton Street Theater. I'm joined by the Imaginary Friends film crew. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to talk to you guys. This film was nominated for the Best Ensemble Cast Award at Portland Comedy Film Festival Winter 2023. So congrats on that. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, one of you, please put the synopsis of this one in your own words and tell us what it's about.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Michael. Thanks for having us again. Basically, Imaginary Friends is a proof of concept short film that we're trying to sell as a half-hour single camera comedy, live action. And basically, imaginary friends are real, Michael. They do exist, but when they're not with their human, they are in a place called Magilandia, where they work at like a corporate office called IMAG. So this is basically a workplace comedy that centers around two tenured imaginaries. They've been there for a long time because their humans are all in their 20s. So for better or for worse, they still have their humans. And basically, the premise of the short is that they find out that their humans start dating. And when humans start dating, imaginaries are in trouble. So they have to sabotage the relationship. And that's pretty much it.
Love the concept. I appreciate that, David. I'm going to stay with you for question number one, David Wagner. What inspired you to to do this project and to be involved?
Yeah, it's a fun story, Michael. I am an adjunct screenwriting professor at the professional program at UCLA, and one of my students, our writer, Jack Hutsey, right over there with the headphones, came into class with this concept. And the first class, when I heard the pitch, I right away texted my writing partner, Dave, about it. And I said, that's my writing partner. And I said, this is special. So I waited I was calculated. I waited till after the quarter was over, and I was praying that Jack did not have any representation and didn't sell it somewhere. So we had a conversation, and Dave and I optioned it. And we felt like the best way to show people, what the show could be was to create sort of this proof of concept short film. So we shot it in a weekend, and we're hoping that it has a life after the short.
All right. Well, that's a great leadway into you, Jack. So you wrote this thing. What inspired this story?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a couple imaginary friends, and they were fun things to have as a kid. And as I grew up, my imaginary friends turned into my own neuroses and anxiety. So it just kind of became like, wow, these imaginary friends, they're not really my friends, but they're kind of my friends. And I felt like that's a story you can tell, where you have friends. They're not really your friends, but you stick with them because, well, they're your friends in a way.
All right. And
yeah,
Steven,
I don't think they ever went away, Jack.
Stephen, what inspired you to get involved with this one?
Well, the opportunity to work with both Davids, I think, is presented itself, and obviously Jack as well. And I think creatively, for me, I come from forgive any background noise, guys, having success in the short film world, and the task at hand was to take the concept that Jack had created and help develop, as Dave Wagner said, the sizzle proof of concept. And so I thought that both creatively we were all aligned on the same page, and then also I could help them kind of whittle the essence, the bare bones of what Jack had created in a half-hour form into something that people could see relatively quickly, understand, and be excited about.
All right, David Allensworth, talk to me. Why get involved with this one?
First of all, thanks again. As Dave said, he brought this over to me to read, and I definitely was floored by it. I'm laughing out loud at this pilot that his student wrote. We wanted to take that pilot script originally and say, all right, let's go try to sell this as producers. And then we realized this is not going to work. I mean, who are we? We've never done show running before. We've done smaller projects and we've directed other things, but we haven't really taken the reins. And at one point, as we were developing this idea as a short, to maybe farm it out as to some other director, we realized, why don't we just do this ourselves? And with Ladin on board, it really helped to shape like what we need to do in this, in the shorter version, the 10 to 15 minute version, and how do we whittle down this pilot to the things that are necessary to show these characters and show this world. And so as we dove more into it, I became more and more inspired to, see it come to life, where we were going to shoot it, what's going to be our cast, how do we see the shots. And as soon as you get that bug, it's like, it's over. We're doing this. So that's part of the inspiration right there.
All right. Well, I'm going to stick with you on this question,
Okay.
David Allensworth, because I'd like to start talking about the learning experience and basically putting this thing together. And that's my next question. What did you learn? What did you learn on the shoot?
I learned a lot. I mean, as far as the shooting goes, you really got to get your shots in order. You got to, shot listing and understanding your environments. One thing that I learned being in New York and everybody else is in LA and we were shooting in LA, everybody and Dave had to put me on FaceTime as we did a tour of the location. And that's extremely important, is to get to the location and see it so you can start to see your angles and the pitfalls of what you thought was going to be the space in your mind is no longer the case. And you've got to think on your feet. And even when we got to the sound stage, it was like, oh, we can't do that because we don't have that resource, or this window's too small, or I thought it was the opposite side, or, oh, I don't know. We have, so you start to try to find solutions, and that's something you learn. You got to be ready for that. And on top of that, learning how to work with actors and trying to bring the best out of them, let them flow, because the writing is fantastic, but they're going to bring something to the table. And our cast absolutely did. And it actually, I'm speaking for Jack here, I believe that when they started to show off their personalities, I think it inspired Jack to come up with even more lines right on the spot. It was just this great collaborative effort. And that's one thing you learn, is it's a collaboration. You are not alone in it, and you need to utilize all your resources. So that's something I've learned.
Yeah, Stephen Ladin, same question to you. What was the learning experience like for you on this one?
I would say, it's, as to echo Dave Allensworth's bit on collaboration, it's when you have a lot of different moving parts, the challenge is making everything run smoothly. And I think for this one, it was being prepared for everything to go wrong, so that when something does, you're you've got your bases covered. So I think with this one in particular, we had a sizable cast, sizable crew for a short at least, and just kind of thinking through what, any scenario of everything can and will go wrong, and not that anything did, but having that preparation was key, so that we were able to, if something arose during the shoot, we had the people and the materials to quickly address a given issue.
All right. What about you, Jack? You wrote it, and then you had something in your head, and then here you are with a finished product. I'm sure you learned something along the way.
Oh yeah. Very much what was written, and the going through the translation of a dozen people, from costuming to directing to casting, and then the finished product. I think it's a great piece of work we produce. Just one of the things I was really impressed by was everyone's professionalism and craft, from makeup to the lighting to the sound to the acting, and really getting to work with some fantastic actors like Josh and Scott, seeing them play back and forth, and me as kind of the third person throwing them lines, and they can take those lines and and add their own spice to it. It was just a lot of fun. It was 2 long days, but I had a great time, and yeah, let's make another one, guys.
All right, good stuff. What about you, David? David Wagner?
Yeah, no, I echo everyone's sentiments. Having the good fortune of coming from the writing background and having the good fortune of going on set of something that I've written. You can show up whenever you want as a writer, but I realize that you got to really wake up fucking early when you're the director. Yeah, so that was an eye-opening thing that I learned, and also how important you don't think about it, but like how important like sound, for instance, is super important when you're making something, and because we had to do a lot of ADR post shooting, so you learn things, and I know I don't want to speak for Dave, but you going into the next one, we're going to really take the experience that we had and learn from it. And everybody, has to be a team player. Nice people that pull on the rope in the same direction. I mean, there was no arguments, and there was everyone was on the same page. Everybody wanted to do a great job, and everyone really came through for us. And you have to work through obstacles too. We lost our script supervisor after the first day, so we had to like fill in for that, and scheduling. An actress had to leave at a certain time, an actor had to leave at a certain time with a hard out, so you have to make sure and reshuffle your shooting schedule. So you have to be prepared for all those little things that happen along the way, and you're going to get a lot of stuff that you're not expecting to happen. And if you have professional people and really, really talented people, you're going to get through it in a smooth way.
Can I just add one more thing? And it's kind of props to Dave here as a comedy writer, an experienced comedy writer. I got to watch him on set make good decisions about the comedy that was coming out of the actors' mouths, and seeing the flow, the pacing, and making sure that what we're going to get on camera is the right pace. And even as we got into the edit, there were some really funny things that never ended up making it into the short. And I, again, defer to Dave here. One thing I learned was you got to be willing to kill some of those babies and just kind of be all right with it, because ultimately it's about the pacing, it's about the time. You can't let it linger too long. We had that one shot where the main character, Dredd, dances his way into the office and has almost a party, and it almost it was a single shot, steady cam. It was really well choreographed. And then we looked at it again, and Dave was like, it's a little long. It's a little overstaying its welcome. So we had to find a way to snip it a little bit, and you just have to be willing to do that for the sake of the project, to make sure that it's the best it can be.
Also, real quick to piggyback on what Dave Allensworth is saying too, I think we should give a shout out to our production design team, Gianni Siegel and Drano Ramos. And the thing that I think we all learned from this experience is, they did fantastic work.
Totally.
They probably, had they, as we talked about, it was a 2-day shoot. Had we been able to give them even more time, I think they could have pressed their creativity even further. So with the time that they had, they delivered a bang up job. But the lesson there too is figuring out, how can we maximize their time too, so that, they're not feeling pressed or rushed or anything like that. And, they really helped bring the contrast of the real world and the imaginary world, as you see in the short, to life in a really quick time. So.
Another shout out to Andrew Baxter, our DP/editor, who that's one thing you learn too. If you can get one of those kind of guys or gals, it's just a godsend, because they were there on the set. They knew what they wanted to shoot. We, as a team, and then they've got it all in their head when they get to the edit. So it's not like they have to retranslate it. They kind of have a sense of what they got. So that's a big plus. Just wanted to mention that.
You guys have big compliments on the dialogue, so very good writing. Also, a lot of compliments from the judges with the variety of characters, obviously with the nomination. One thing that kept coming up was the costumes and the wardrobe everybody loved. That was probably the most consistent thing that everybody noted. The next question is about casting. And if you weren't involved in the casting, that's okay. You don't have to talk about it. But whoever wants to talk about casting, I want to show some of the pictures from set so people can get an idea of what we're talking about. Who did the casting call, or was it a casting call, or was it a Rolodex film? How did you guys come up with
both?
Both. Okay. David Wagner, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, sure. When Dave Allensworth found a great casting director in Liz Lewis, she's based out of New York, and she got us Scott
Josh.
Bender, who played Cam. And we got
that
Josh
guy too,
and Gabriel
Delorbe.
Yep. We got so lucky. That's my cousin, Q-Tip. I'm lucky to pull some favors too.
Emily Nash. Yeah.
My good friend Jason Markey, who's a co-producer on this and our music supervisor, got us Soleil Moonfry, Punky Brewster, played Bly. That's Aiden Sky. She played. That's one of my friend's contacts. And Greg Grunberg, who's been on so many things: Felicity, Alias, Star Wars. My son played baseball with his son. I gave him a call. He read the script. He's like, I'm in. So it really came together. We're so proud of
right there.
Yeah, we're so proud of our cast. I mean, they're amazing. Obviously their resumes speak for themselves. They're professional working actors, and we're very lucky that they came and had some fun with us for the weekend.
All right, good stuff. Anybody else want to add anything to the Jack? Obviously, I heard the comment earlier about the inspiration. Like you wrote the words on paper, and then you got inspired to start making updates. What does it feel like to like write something on paper and then watch an actor just run with it?
I mean, it's the closest thing for me to alchemy. You have something in your head and it becomes physical, it becomes tangible, and I'm just happy they wanted to play with it too. So
good stuff. Anything else?
It's the right kind of environment. This material. And our, props to everybody, the execution of it and the fun that we had is ripe for continued comedy in the space. Can you imagine all the different kinds of imaginaries that we can come up with, even guest spots for cameos and whatnot? Just somebody wants to come in and play a unicorn or whatever. It's like they'll just have a great time with us. So we're looking forward to that. That's one of our goals, is to get this thing on air and then start to open it up. And I know Jack's looking forward to that too, to like come up with more of this world. So, we have a few hints in here on this in the short about some things that are brewing about an imaginary getting recycled when they're at the end of their lifespan, and the golden thread is something that if humans have a golden thread, as Dave said, it's kaputs for the imaginary. So you try to avoid that. So there's a lot of like things that are like it goes in such a great direction that we've already developed. So yeah, we're looking forward to the future of this.
Well, the last question I'm going to have is kind of a combo one, and it's what are you working on next? And if you forgot to add anything, go ahead and add it here, or any shout outs or acknowledgments of crew. We'll stick with you, David Allensworth, on this one, and we'll go around the room. What are you working on next? And is there anything else?
I'm going to speak for Dave Wagner as well, since we're writing partners. But we just completed a feature that we based on a book that we optioned, romantic comedy, and it's a kind of a social media centered project with some magical element to it. And we had such a great time writing this, and we were able to get on board through one of our producers on this, Jason Markey, to get some other people involved, including a pretty prominent, director, a feature film director, and who loves the project too. And we've got another prominent producer who's made some very, very successful films. So we're super excited about the next project. It's called Keep Me Posted. And I don't know, Dave, if you want to tell any more about it, but that is what's next for us, other than Imaginary Friends.
It's a magical romantic comedy. It's really great, and it kind of has the flavor of a little bit of Groundhog Day and a little bit of 13 going on 30. I mean, there's a lot of great romantic comedy elements to it. So we're very excited about it, and we're super excited about the director we got.
All right, Steven, you want to add anything?
Just that, for me, myself, obviously trying to help push Imaginary Friends through to the finish line here in terms of getting it picked up to series and seeing it play out, and furthering the journey that we've all started together. And beyond that, working on a workplace comedy set in the library. It's sort of the minutia that two male librarians deal with on a day-to-day. So,
all right, Jack, I'll let you wrap it out.
Yeah, of course, working on Imaginary Friends, polishing it and really defining the world. So, producers take a look at it, they know where it could go in the next 5 years. And then just a personal project of mine is working on a half hour about a group of guys who are trying to figure out what it means to be a man and how to be positive in their masculinity. So.
All right. You don't pick the easy projects, do you, Jay? Good stuff. You guys, I like the plots. I like the writing. I like everything your whole team is putting together. Looking forward to seeing more about what you're doing. So great job on this. Congrats on your accomplishment in Portland.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully we'll see you at a future event.
Thank you so much, Michael.
We appreciate your
Thanks,
time,
Michael.
Michael.
Yeah,
No
thanks,
worries.
Michael.
Take
Have
care.
a good one.